Buckle up, After Buzzers. This week on Project Runway All-Stars, we're designing glamorous air travel, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. This is AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, guys? Such a classic song, right? Welcome to the show. This is a Project Runway All-Stars edition. I'm Haley J, sitting with my beautiful co-host.
Hey everybody, I'm Monique Loveless.
All right, so we're getting right into it. We're breaking it down, literally. They're breaking down materials for the competition this week. We've got the Unconventional Materials Challenge. We see the judges going through the hardest challenge. It is only the third episode, but we see it being the hardest challenge we've seen so far this season. And of course, there's got to be a winner and a loser. Someone's packing their bag. So what do we think of this episode?
I always love these episodes. The Unconventional Materials, I feel like always brings out the, like one of the judges says, it brings out the wittiness of the designer. Like, does this designer know how to step out of the box of natural materials or the materials that they normally use? So this is one of my favorite challenges, always in all of the seasons. It's one of my faves, so I was excited.
I thought overall with this episode, when they first showed what they were going to be doing, it's hard enough to make an outfit with the time limit and the normal materials, much less making it out of all these unconventional materials, things that you never think of.
Right.
And not gonna lie, I'd be a little mad if I thought I was gonna take a trip and then they're like, just kidding, we're not actually going anywhere. Like, how would you feel if that happened?
I knew they weren't going anywhere.
Really?
They don't have time for all of that.
idea.
I'm like, they're not going anywhere. Like, they really don't have time for that. But
they're like, it's not in the budget, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But so I totally I knew they weren't going anywhere.
That one, I guess I'm always gullible and I don't ever expect things to happen. But I really, in my mind, I'm like, I bet they're going to Hawaii. They're probably going somewhere cool. But
yeah, no. I was like, they're not going anywhere.
It would have been interesting to have them design something while in the air, but it probably wouldn't have any room on the plane for that.
Right. It would have been nice, but that would have been a cool idea. But all in all, like, no. I don't know. It would have been a different idea.
What materials do you think you would have pulled?
Oh, that's hard. I would have probably pulled the puke bags also. A lot of people had the puke bags. I would have pulled the puke bags. I thought Anya's idea was nice with the pamphlets. Something that helps make the handwork not so much. So probably I would have been on the safe side with this one. Probably like more of the puke bags, maybe a seat belt, and to do like a belt or something onto the clutch or something like that. So yeah.
I thought the idea of one of the contestants having the peanut bag and emptying out every single peanut was definitely probably time consuming, but really smart because he's at least got a snack through all that work.
Yeah. It was a really pretty skirt. But that, once again, that's a lot of like handwork. And like he said, he was like, the skirt is just right. So that could have also kind of maybe went wrong. Because he started out with the long skirt, but the other half he was like, I just can't do, so it ended up being a shorter skirt.
Which I think a short skirt would be nice, but I'm also, it's hard to take these looks and make them practical because all of them are going to be high fashion in their own way. But I'm thinking if I was on a plane, I think I'd want a long skirt because I always want some type of blanket or something like that. I wouldn't want to have a mini skirt on a plane.
Right.
That's just me, though.
I don't think I would mind because then you can just I like to put on like my little footies and then have my blanket around my blanket.
And it does get a little hot sometimes. So it's nice if you
wrap my blanket around my legs. Yeah. But that's only if I'm going to a hot spot. But other than that, I really loved this challenge just because, like I said, once again, it's all about it's like when you go to an art show. By the way, I'm in fashion. So it's like when you go to an art show or you go somewhere artsy or like even when you travel, you tend to come up with ideas, and being able to have different materials to pull little things out of your brain and come up with this full outfit is amazing, which I really am excited about, because I feel like this is the way that 3D printing for fashion will go.
Okay.
So using the unconventional materials, I feel like it's the future. I feel like it is part of the future.
That's a really cool way to look at it. And I do think this challenge really was meant for the All-Stars, because I don't see this going well for people that are not up to that level. I just feel like this is way too difficult. Just like you said, you have to have experience. You have to know immediately what your vision is going to be. You have to, you only have a certain amount of time to really gather these materials. And I think a lot of times we have an idea in our head and they don't look the way that you think they're going to go. So especially if they've never dealt with that material, they don't know exactly how. Like even with the seatbelts, he couldn't get them to lay the way he wanted them to.
Right.
That was Seth with the seatbelt. So that's got to be a challenge, just not knowing how material will react. Seth with the seatbelts. Yeah.
I mean, I'm eye rolling right now for everybody on the podcast, because that was horrid. That was horrid.
That wasn't
my
favorite look.
That wasn't even Frugalista. Yeah. That was just horrid. It was everything
about it. You guys can look up on the screen if you need some reference. I don't think you forgot what that one looked like, though.
No, he used seatbelts, and then he tried, I don't know, to like gather them at the bottom to make this reflection look. But it was so horrible because it was thrown. It looked undone, thrown together, unthoughtful. Everything about it was just wrong.
And what was interesting is when we saw the model first put on the look, he seemed pretty happy with it. He was like, yes, this is how I want it to sway when they walk. And I think he was defending that it didn't really look like a seatbelt, but I think we all were like, no, that's the seatbelt. It doesn't look like you're fooling anyone.
I always feel like we don't get a lot of to see what we get shots of them in the rooms while they're building things, but we don't get a lot of take in the room. So I feel like when certain designers are saying that looks a hot mess, I guarantee you it's going to look a hot
Probably.
mess.
Yeah, what's interesting too is I think if I were to think of what materials I would grab, I think I would gravitate towards the seatbelt, because I just envision an easy belt at the top or maybe straps. I feel like that would have been an easier material. Maybe his downfall was only using that. Maybe if he would have just done maybe the top part or had a different material from the bottom, it could have been a completely new look.
He could have kind of done which I'm really upset Sunny did last week. He could have really done a short mini dress with all seatbelts, but they would have to be together. They would have to be like glued or stuck together in a stiffer way, and then had a seatbelt going around it as a belt, so it looked like a full not so much as a fit and flare skirt, but more like a fit and flare kind of dress with like the bubble mini skirt of it. So basically the top bodice would be fitted. There would have been a waist belt, and then the skirt would have been like a mini bubble out type skirt.
I'm thinking you need to be on this show. You've got your plans.
I mean, that would have looked... He should have grabbed a lot more seatbelts if he was going to go for the easier material, as far as like the longer material.
Well, looking at this,
that could have been a better thing too. Even if he just added some more into there, some more like seatbelts into there, and kept the bottom hem of the dress cinched together, so that it was kind of like like you drawstringed the bottom part of it, and the belt parts were kind of like flared out a little bit.
Okay.
But there was no structure to this. It just looked thrown together, unthoughtful. It was so undone.
Looking at this now, I'm almost thankful we don't have more of it to see. But speaking of thankful, we're super thankful that we have you guys. And I know you have a special message for our AfterBuzzers.
Yes. Hey there, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. So thank you.
And there's so much to keep up with this show that we need you guys to interact. We need your help too to remember everything that's going on.
Right. I wish I was in the chat right now, but I couldn't find it. I'll be able to find it next week for you guys.
We'll get it.
Sorry, but I want to see everybody's opinion too, because I mean, to me, like, I don't know, I love to see other people's opinion and what they think, like, throughout the show.
Especially with fashion. There's always so many ideas, and I think that's what makes fashion so exciting. It's not one-sided. There's so many different opinions, which can also make it a little bit messier. The struggle is real, getting us to our main issue that we saw with this challenge. This was the hardest one for them. We saw Jasper running all over the place. We saw Django wanting to quit. He, at one point, I kind of thought he was going to throw the towel in. Did you think he was going to walk away?
That he was going to give up? No.
You didn't think so?
No, I just felt like that was for drama aspect, but no, I didn't.
Little drama queen.
Yeah, he was just being a drama queen. I didn't feel like that was real. He wasn't going to just walk away.
He's like, not going to come this far.
Right. No, not at all. So yeah, no, not that he was just throwing it in for the drama.
I did think this was, just as far as they hype things up for TV all the time, but I really do think that this challenge was very real in the sense that some of them were sweating a little bit. I think they really had to be creative.
Yeah, because you do. With unconventional materials, you have to. These are not materials that you're used to working with. That's like anything. That's like, if somebody brings you a challenge in your field and you're not used to it, you have to step out to figure certain things out. So that's just what this was. It's art. It's all art, though. So if you're a creative mind, you'll nail it. If you're not, you kind of have to learn to level up.
Like you were saying before, stepping outside of the box, I think that this is exactly what this challenge was, where it is art, and you have to look at it other than just a fashion or for their wear. You have to put the pieces together in a way that most people wouldn't obviously be able to do.
Right, which I think who won was Jasper. He did that well. He put sick bags together. He did handwork with the cut up skirt of the paper cups by flattening them out and fringing them and coloring them, painting them. Everything about this look was winner. Now, it was classic, and I felt like it definitely matched the purpose of this, because it was supposed to be a glam look for the modern day travel. This is on point. Not only can she go from the plane, she can go straight to a business meeting, out for drinks,
most people
anything.
Traveling are.
Yes. And
I may have written this down wrong, though. I thought Irina was the challenge winner in the end.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Irina was.
Okay. I was going to say,
my bad.
That was your favorite.
I had my stars next to Jasper, because
you're like, if I was the judge.
Yeah. If I was a judge, he would have won my heart. He did also... not only, and this is the best thing about Unconventional Material Challenge, is that it's the purpose of making a look like a normal, everyday RTW, which is ready to wear look, without showing the actual materials. That's what we do. Like when you sew, when you do stuff like that, like we don't want to show our seams unless that's meant to be shown. We don't want to show, certain things unless it's meant to be shown. So to take these conventional materials and make it look like a real outfit, like straight off the runway, like she could literally go from this runway to a business meeting or anything. I loved everything about it. Like everything about this, love the mixture of prints. He did a mixture of like colors, prints.
Really bold choices with that top.
Yes. He definitely used the unconventional materials. But you can't tell.
Right.
So if this
I would wear that.
Yeah. If this was just to the naked eye, and you didn't have to say what you did, like, I feel like everybody would be like, okay.
Like they would have no
All
idea.
the rest of the looks, you would ask, what is that? Like, what's that? Because there was something that stood out that you knew it was something different.
Seatbelts.
Yeah, those seatbelts. But this one, to me, it was perfect.
What was so funny about Jasper also is that, have you ever had those kids growing up in school and they're like, oh my God, I did awful on this test, I'm going to get an F. And then you're like, yeah, me too. And then you really actually do get an F and then they get an A like every single time.
Well, I've never gotten an F, but
every time I would say, man, I probably tanked that. I actually did. And I would get so mad at the kids that would always talk about failing and did well every single time.
That was me.
That was Jasper in
That
this
was me.
episode. So
Yeah.
you were Jasper.
I'm one of those. I am. I won't study. I won't do anything, and I'll just go and get A's.
So let me ask you, in your mind, do you really feel like you failed, or do you kind of always know that like you're gonna pull it together?
I'm one of those people who are just like, well, I don't know. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I'm not going to. I'm trying not to stress it because I got so many other things going on. But yeah, I was that person. Like, oh, well, I've never done it, but I'm gonna jump in here and do it. I always it's about focus.
Right.
So really, it's about focus and putting your mind to it.
I wish I had your sense of calmness because Jasper didn't. We saw him running around, and that's what made me worry for him because
he did, but he
looked
knew.
like a scatterbrain.
No, I knew he knew because when everybody said they haven't seen anything he did, but he was like, I have paint that needs to dry. I have this, I have that. He knew the look he was going for because even when he was giving the model constructive criticism, I thought it was, and when he was giving the model certain criticism, and she didn't even have none of the pieces on yet. Like, I knew. I had faith in him. I was like, what? I was ready for him. I was like, what is he going to bring to the table?
I guess that's why he's here, you know? It's like they will always pull it together in the end. And 70 pieces in the top, he said?
Yeah, 70.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 70 of the puke bags he did. And he had to unfold and fringe the cups, which is the skirt. But speaking of pulling it together, the winner, Irina, she pulled it together this week.
She really did. And I didn't know if I was necessarily expecting that when I first saw it, but then compared to all the other looks, her creativity was just, she completely hit it out of the park with the mesh. Mesh is always cool. I feel like that'll stay in style for a long time. And then with the detail in the cups, and obviously you need the legs to pull that off, but it just seemed fun. It seemed easy.
It definitely, yes, I definitely agree that it was fun. It was very fun. Do I believe she was the winner? No. I definitely believe this Project Runway All-Stars, they're not really getting it right. I'm just say it. I don't think they're getting it right.
It can be very hard to tell where the judges are going to go with
it. They're not really getting it right because last week I honestly think that she should have gone and Sunny should have stayed because I wanted to see more of what he had due to that dress, even though he did not use all the colors. His execution and the way he put things together were flawless. Even this is not a winner. This is not glam for the modern day travel. Would you travel in that?
See, what's funny is, I guess we're jumping ahead, but I gotta admit that actually was going to be something I would purchase just because maybe it wouldn't be my choice for a flight, but I think if I want to do something cool, if I want like a rocky mesh fun outfit, I'm very into reds and oranges lately, so maybe that's why I gravitated towards that look. But, you know, it is different. You're definitely asking to stand out.
It's a great...
I don't know if I'd wear it on a plane. If I'm
It's a great look, but...
I'm wearing my sweats on a plane. Can we be real about that? I'm not
Right.
glamorous on a flight.
No, most people aren't nowadays. But honestly, for this to be glam look for the modern day travel, do I feel like this is a travel look? No, I feel like this is a great look for when you're in Hawaii or when you're like in the Bahamas and you have like a cute casual night out with the girls or something. Like, this is not a travel look. This was a great look. I felt like I definitely she redeemed herself from last week, from that tacky of a glam.
This is maybe
graduation
that's why
dress.
She won too, because I feel like we've seen the judges we saw Sunny go home because he didn't use, right? Am I
He didn't use blue.
Right, because he didn't use enough. So that was a technicality for him to be sent home. And then I think we see sometimes they win. Maybe it's not the most practical. Like we both said, we probably would not be wearing this on a flight. But I think as far as creativity and redemption of last week, they like to see that. And it was obviously enough to make her the winner.
It was, and it wasn't for me though. But she used paper cups and then the mesh. The mesh, I feel like it was. I put fun. It love the mesh detailing look, but it wasn't, to me. It wasn't the winning look. I feel like the winning look should have been between Jasper and Anthony Ryan. Anthony Ryan,
I love him.
I am a jumpsuit pant lover.
At least he got his win last week.
He did. I am a jumpsuit pant lover.
That was probably the most practical look in my opinion. I would have chose to wear that on a flight over the other outfits.
I kind of think that the glam part wasn't there, but the glam part for me was there because the whole back was just prints. That was it.
And so unexpected. I don't think we have that one.
It was one of my fave. I put very wearable. It was RTW, like definitely off the runway. And I think from last week with winning, he's found his mojo. I totally understand with his, grandmother dying and stuff like that. That's really emotional because that's always been a thing for me. But he definitely, I'm loving seeing his work now. His first challenge, I wasn't, but now these last two challenges, I'm really loving seeing his work. And I loved it. I loved everything about his Anthony Ryan's jumpsuit and the whole back piece that was just
I did
full
not
print.
expect that, and that stole the show for me. Because not only do we get the wearable look, we get the easy throw-on jumpsuit, but then we're also getting this sense of high fashion, and it's fun, glamorous, and if you can tie in easy and glamorous together where it looks like a lot of work, but it's not a lot of work to wear, I think that is what most people are going to gravitate.
Right.
Quick,
and that
easy, glam, go.
That was another one that they just kind of like brushed off because Michelle's dress was nice because she used the reflectors, and I understand their point in saying it looked very much like high end. It looked expensive.
I wonder how that would be to sit down in.
Oh, it would probably be super uncomfortable.
Her look was actually really close to the winning look. Irina and Michelle's look were not very different. Would you be able to throw up Michelle for us really quick? Yeah, they weren't that different. I really think it obviously came down to material and the shape, but they were pretty close. So I do wonder how much they edit and how much we really get to see of the judges deliberating. I'm sure there's a lot more that we don't get to see because it probably would be way past the time constraint.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do wonder the process because, like we said, fashion, there's so much to it.
I feel like there are, to me, I see the super differences between Irina's and Michelle. They were both very red. That was pretty much, I feel like, the only coincidence. But Michelle's is more of a shift dress. So her shift dress, and then Irene, just to go over Irina's again, she had the two-piece, which is the top and the skirt, which was like the mod look. But this look was Michelle's like shift dress. And even though a shift dress, okay, this is the thing about this one. The shift dress is great because really a shift dress matches for any body style. Any body style can wear a shift dress. It's the only piece or style that any body type, any silhouette across the board can wear.
Really? See, I don't know if I feel like...
You can, but...
I don't know. What about a really short person?
A short person can wear it, but it's all about how you do it. You have to belt it. You have to do this. You have to do this. But because of the actual just the shape of it, it has no shape to it. So you shape it. So it's easier to shape a cloth, like something that's just
kinda
thrown
just,
over
like,
you.
gives you a canvas to work with.
Than to have like something. But this was a shift dress. Okay, she just did a shift dress and then she just crushed up, what was it? She deconstructed the reflectors. And even though I do feel like it looked expensive, and every girl loves a pocket. Oh my gosh, I love pockets. And
shout out to pockets, though, for real.
yeah, even though it had the pockets, there was nothing else to this. Like, I didn't feel like it had any, like, honestly, I didn't feel like it was super, like, glam. I didn't feel like it was travel. I just kind of felt like it was cute, and it was
and you're in
like,
fashion, so did it seem like maybe this just wasn't that hard to put together? Because I thought it was a cool idea to deconstruct the pieces, but probably wasn't that difficult at the same time. Did you think some of the other judges or some of the other contestants just put much more thought and energy into it than she did?
I feel like she took a safer route. I'll say that. I'm not going to say that it wasn't hard, because this is all of the unconventional materials is a lot of handwork.
Right.
They had to do a lot
in their world.
Yeah, they had to do a lot of handwork, and a lot of handwork, you know, that's why most things are like expensive when you get to fringe and things like that, because it could be handwork. But
and Michelle actually said that she's never felt this much pressure in a contest before.
To me, even though they called Julie safe. They called her dress safe. But to me, Michelle's dress was very safe. It was a shift dress. It just had the deconstructed reflectors on there, and that was pretty much it. It didn't have anything that was like, boom, like, we have arrived. I did something creative, something out the box. It just wasn't all that.
I could see that. It is a little boring. I like the material, and I do like that it looks more expensive. But as far as the shape, I see what you're saying, where there's not much to it other than a very straight cut platform. And I kind of think if you have to figure out ways to make it more interesting, then it's probably not that interesting. You know what I mean? If you have to, like, should I belt this? Should I do this? And then you shouldn't have to do more work. It should be kind of done when you buy it already.
Right. And they were calling Julie's she had all the puke bags for her skirt and stuff.
I love how they make puke bags just into something glamorous, because every time we say it, it doesn't sound like something I'd want to buy.
Right. Yes, that's it.
And speaking of things that, see, I do like that look, but I agree with the judges when they say it's safe, because I've seen this before. I'm not impressed with it.
It is definitely a sheath dress style, a sheath dress silhouette. It has a classic look. It doesn't really stand out. The top part was very ill-fitting on the model, so that could have been tailored a little more. I did like her bag.
And I love a low cut, especially for us small boobie girls. I appreciate a good low cut, but
it has to be good fitting.
I was bored. And on a show like this, we can't be bored. Do you think Julie might be in trouble?
I don't know. But I do agree with the judges when they say at least, you know, she was a little more classic, but at least Sean stuck out, which was the sunglasses, the aviators. Julie was classic. And in a boring way, and they did hit the nail on the head with that one, where she was classic in a boring way. And even though Sean's was not that great, he took it to a more creative level. Like, he tried to at least step out of the box.
There's a very fine line between wanting to stick to the rules of the competition, but still knowing that you are in an all-stars cast. So you have to be essentially way more high fashion than a normal look, but you still have to follow the rules. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I could see where she may play the safer route, thinking that, would I wear this on a flight? But then I see other designers thinking that I still need to go above and beyond every single time.
Right.
That can be a hard call to make.
She could have played the safer route, but if you're going to play the safer route, I mean, the execution of it should be flawless. There should be not one ill-fitting part of this dress.
Why do you think, because we didn't really see much of that, so why do you think that ended up happening? I'm almost surprised that they didn't get the model fitted as she should be.
I mean, I don't know. I can't say, because I don't know her skills. So I'm not really sure. It could be that she just doesn't know. It could have been a time thing. It could be that she didn't know how to really, use the materials.
Thinking maybe it would have fallen a different way when they cut it. Yeah, and really anything could happen. And like the designers were saying, they did feel so much pressure. So it is, I always wonder, what could they have done if they had more time?
Right.
Or because we don't see everything. You know, we only get an hour each episode, not even with commercials. So I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes and struggles that we don't get to see, which makes it even more interesting. But I do want to talk about our special segment is pass or purchase, and it's so hard not to already kind of give away.
I know, always already give away, like,
let us know
that's my
yours
favorite.
just to let everyone know. Again, we'll show the pictures hopefully if we do have the ones that we're choosing. But what would you pass on and what would you purchase?
Okay, I definitely would have purchased Anthony Ryan's jumpsuit.
Okay.
I would have purchased Jasper's dress.
Oh, you have more than one. Okay. She's going shopping.
Yes, I'm telling you everything I would have purchased. Yes, I would have purchased that. I would have purchased Jasper's dress.
What was your favorite part about this look?
Everything. There is no favorite part. This is just my style, period. I love a mid-length skirt.
So
I love
flattering.
a waist belt because I have hips and booty, and I love
Nice snatched waist.
Yes, and I love a stiffer like camp shirt or like just button down style shirt with the collar and the V-neck, just kind of giving that sensual, sultry feel. And then the prints, I mean, the whole thing is just me all the way.
That skirt is really creative.
Yes. So going over real quick, I would have purchased Anthony Ryan's jumpsuit. I would have definitely purchased Jasper's look. And I would have definitely passed on Seth Aaron's stuff.
Seth was a seatbelt.
Yes, Seth was a seatbelt.
In case you guys forgot that image in your mind.
I would have pretty much passed on everything else. I would have bought Irina's look I would have purchased Irina's look for a gift for somebody. But everybody else, I think I kind of would have passed on. Oh, and I think it was Evan who did the
gift for someone, not for me, but I can. So as a person who works with fashion, you can recognize when something might not be your style, but you can appreciate that it's still crafted well.
Yes.
And could be for someone else.
Yeah, definitely, because I have to work with all different types. I have to we call it collaboration. I have to collaborate with clients all day, and not everybody's going to be the same.
That must
as
be
me.
Almost the hardest part, especially being female when these are pieces that you yourself could wear. That's got to be hard to sometimes separate, okay, what does my brain want, but what could look fabulous on someone else, and making that
Well, it's all about
decision.
collaboration. It's all about collabing. So that's what I'm there for. As a stylist, you're there for that reason. It's to take your expertise and what you've accomplished in what you like and mold it into something that they would like but never would think of or have thought of.
Because they're fitting models, I wonder if in their minds they think of a certain type of person that is wearing their look, or this is what they would wear.
Most designers work in sample size. We are working on that as a fashion industry, which I'm really glad of. When you have like people like Ashley Graham coming up and things like that,
Ashley
being
Graham.
being a more plus size model. But even now, Nordstrom, they're starting to put pictures on their actual site that is not a 12 and not a 2. They're size 8s and
so
6
nice
because
to see.
they're in between sizes. Like most people don't realize that 65% of women in the United States, that's over half of women in the United States, are over a size 14. So most women in the United States are not sample sizes.
I'm almost surprised that Project Runway All-Stars hasn't turned over to that by now, that the models are all still very, very skinny, typical runway models, especially if we're designing for a person to wear it. Let's have real people wear it.
They did one season, I can't remember what season it was, but they were letting the designers pick their models, and they had all different shapes, sizes, and everything. So that was really cool. And they got to pick their models there for a minute. But I don't know. Since it's different, maybe we'll get something different when it comes back on Bravo. So we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And I do think we're getting closer to seeing that. I want to tell you my pass or purchase ones. I don't think it's going to be any shock at this point. Gotta pass. Gotta give you the bad news first. I've got to pass on the seatbelt with Seth.
Yeah, that was hideous.
I feel like I would have created that, thinking I'm being so artistic. Yeah, no, this was just a complete miss for me. And what was interesting is when he went home, he didn't think he should have gone home.
Well, as a designer, I feel like he really stuck to his guns. He really felt that. He had a connection
very
to it.
Well, leaving.
Yeah, he had a connection to it. So,
and I do think what he said before, he's like, you know what? I've won this multiple times. I'm not really that hurt about it. So I do think being in a position where you can really only go up from here. You've already won. You already have that title. I feel like a lot of them, we've talked about this before, they're already designers. They have platforms. So I think not like it's fun losing, but I think this might be a show where it's a little less heart-wrenching when they do go home, just because we know they're going to be okay. They're so talented.
Right.
But this one.
And not only going back to that, not only the all shapes and sizes for the models, I am really kind of disappointed about the lack of minorities there. I mean, you have a certain group of minorities, but we don't have no African Americans there. Can we get, they've been on seasons. There's certain people that I love off of other seasons that I feel like are all-stars that should have been in this cast too.
See, I was jumping in a little late in the game, so I'm just now really getting to know these designers. So yeah, I would definitely like to see more competition and all different sorts of people.
But I didn't mean to cut you off from your pass and your purchase.
Great point. But for who I would purchase, I did say Irina, and I did admit, this might not be my typical on the flight look because I'm just no makeup sweats on a flight. But if I want something fun, if I want something different, I love a pop of color in red, and I think I own boots that look like that. So I think that look is just something that I would go for if I'm feeling bold. But I don't think that might be the most comfortable thing if it's made out of cups.
No, it's to look with unconventional materials. I feel like it's more so look, but I definitely feel like this is the route that, like I said, I definitely feel like this is the route that they're going to start trying to go, but make it more flexible when 3D fashion printing comes out, which I'm super excited about. I was wondering
what can they possibly do with fashion, since we see a lot of styles come up from the past in the 80s, and we're doing outfits that my parents wore. So I'm excited to see it go in a direction we haven't seen it go before.
Yeah, definitely. They did the full printing dress at the Met Gala. I don't know if it was last year or the year before last. No, it wasn't. Whenever I think it was there's so many guys. Last year was the Catholic meets the,
what was this?
That wasn't it. It was when technology meets fashion. I think that was the Ex Machina for the Met Gala during that time. The dress that they had in the case that they showed, that was all 3D printing.
I'm going to need Fashion Nova to make a cheaper version for me, because this already sounds like I need to save up to keep up with the fashion.
Fashion Nova is not going to do it. It's going to be to a point where you can just do it right at home. You don't have to order online. You don't have to do none of that. You can literally put in a software to make a pattern, and it'll you put in the fabric and you print it out. You print out your actual outfit.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And what you made a point, I just wanted to bring this up quick. When they were designing, you said that you want to see a piece of work where you don't know that they made out of materials. But I wonder if the contestants want the judges to obviously see the material to show that they followed the rules.
I mean, of course they did. In this case, because of the time and the materials that they were actually given, I feel like along the lines they did, but that's what not Tim. I was about to say Tim. That's what Anna comes in the room for, to make sure that those are
good point.
To see the materials you're using. Yeah.
I guess it's just trying to figure out the minds of the judges, and
I don't know what going on with the judges.
I always feel like I'm off.
If y'all are in the chat, let me know. But I just feel like the judges are not like, I don't know what's going on. I definitely feel like with the judges, I'm not really getting what they're going for or what they've been looking for or anything, because even though like last week, if y'all didn't feel like he completed the challenge like you wanted him to, I feel like that should have been brought up, because any other season that's brought up, like, hey, you didn't complete the challenge like we wanted you to. But we do like your execution. We love the dress and we want to see more from you. Just make sure next time that you put those details in there.
That's what I love about behind the scenes also, because say we do disagree with the judges, which is very possible, at least the viewer is going to see this and then, follow the designer, and their careers can go much further than the judges' opinions.
Yeah. I mean, this is All Stars though. So majority of these designers already have a career, right? If they're not already working with celebrities off the runway. Most of the time, the Project Runway winners, like Michael Costello, Christian Siriano, they all came off Project Runway. So it's kind of like, yeah, they all kind of already have like a career. So I just feel like at this point, it's just to get more exposure.
Right. And anything can really help with that, especially with social media and all of that, all the platforms they can use aside from this show. But I do want to get into predictions. We saw a little clip of what's going to come. They're creating corsets for the woman's
and now,
body.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
They're celebrating the woman's figure. What do you think we're going to see? Olivia Copel, she's guest starring, so that'll be cool. Guest judge.
Yeah, the corset into a high fashion look.
It's hard because I think you can easily go, can I say slutty? A little tacky with that.
A little tacky.
Kind of depends.
I don't know. I'm all for that because I'm a 1920s dress girl.
Ooh. And
I love a 1920s look.
It can be very, cool throwback, Gone with the Wind vibes at the same time. So I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they come up with.
And we saw one of the contestants might get hurt, and that's probably going to make me pass out because I hate blood.
Oh, no.
But I think we can get through it together. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. I am Haley J. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at HeyJ_, HAYJ_.
And I'm Monique Loveless. You can find me everywhere on all social media platforms at Miss Mo Loveless. That's MS Mo Loveless. And make sure you also check out my website at MoniqueLoveless.com for all your style tips and tricks.
Yes, girl.
And on Mondays now at 6 p.m., make sure you also tune in to Total Bellas, where we will be throwing some shade and spilling some tea for you guys.
Even more fashion on that one.
Right. I know. So make sure you guys tune in.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.